Previously, Jax and Maya found a sealed hidden room with a table with markings like a spirit board. This had to be it. Maya's final words echoed through the radio.
Could this be it? Could this be the one?
My own pulse hammered in my ears. The whisper I heard, "Find the board." Now Jax and Maya had found something. Something that matched that very command. A table with markings in a sealed room. This had to be more than coincidence. This felt like the house guiding us. Or perhaps luring us deeper into its mystery. I located the narrow opening Jax described. It was cleverly concealed behind a false panel. Almost invisible unless you knew where to look. The hidden staircase itself was steep, tight, little more than a glorified ladder. I aimed my flashlight upwards. The beam was swallowed by the oppressive dark. This passage felt ancient, untouched by time. A silent testament to Sarah's secrets. I began to climb, my heart pounding. Reaching the top, I found Jax and Maya. They stood in the doorway of a small room, their faces illuminated by their own lights. Their expressions were a mix of awe and tension. The room beyond them was exactly as Maya said. It felt like stepping into a tomb, a forgotten pocket within the sprawling mansion. I joined them, stepping over the threshold. It was different from the rest of the house. And there, in the center of it all, the simple wooden table Maya described, it felt like the focal point of the room's energy. It radiated a sense of importance. We found something truly extraordinary. We gathered around the small wooden table. The dust was thick like a gray shroud.
Carefully brushed a small section clean, revealing the faint markings beneath. These were definitely not accidental scratches.
Letters of the alphabet, clearly discernible. And other symbols, stranger, more esoteric.
It was, without a doubt, a spirit board, or at least a custom-made talking board.
The suggestion hung in the heavy air. A mixture of excitement and trepidation filled us. Were we ready to awaken the echoes? The decision was made. We had to try. This discovery was too significant to ignore. The potential to connect with Sarah herself.
But how to proceed? There was no planchette, no traditional pointer accompanying this board. The markings were carved directly into the table. Perhaps Sarah used a glass or a pointer, or maybe the spirits guided her hand directly.
We looked around the small, dusty room, searching for any object that might serve. A small, overturned teacup lay in a corner, covered in cobwebs, probably left for decades. It felt appropriate, almost faded. Maya carefully picked it up, wiping it clean. Its delicate china felt fragile in her hands.
This would be our impromptu planchette, our vessel to traverse the spiritual divide.
We positioned ourselves around the table.
Place your hands on the planchette.
His voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed tension. We each extended a hand, tentatively, placing just our fingertips lightly on the cup. The china felt cool beneath our touch, a stark contrast to the room's heavy air.
Are there any spirits present? Are there any spirits here who wish to speak with us?
Her question echoed in the profound silence. We waited, our senses strained to the limit, our breath held in collective anticipation. The only sound was the faint hum of our equipment. We were reaching across the veil. Seconds stretched into an eternity. The small teacup remained perfectly still. Beneath our lightly resting fingertips, doubt began to creep into my mind. Was this just an old, inert table? Had its energies faded with the long years? Was Sarah's connection a personal one? One that couldn't be replicated by others? The silence in the sealed room deepened, becoming almost a physical pressure against us. We remained focused, our concentration unwavering. Then, a subtle shift, almost imperceptible. A tiny vibration under our fingers. The teacup, which had been rock solid, now seemed to possess a faint tremor. Was it our own unconscious movements? The result of our tense anticipation? We exchanged quick, questioning glances. No. This felt different. This felt external. The tremor grew slightly stronger. A faint scraping sound. Wood on wood. The cup was moving. Definitely moving. Slowly, deliberately, the teacup began to slide. It paused, then moved again, with more purpose. It glided towards the carved letters, stopping definitively under the letter Y. Then it moved again to E. And finally, it came to rest under S. Y-E-S. The answer was undeniable, spelled out clearly before our astonished eyes. A direct response to Maya's question. The moment the S was confirmed, the atmosphere in the room changed instantly. A wave of intense cold washed over us. Goosebumps erupted on our arms. Our breath plumed visibly in the flashlight beams. We were no longer just observing history. We had actively engaged with it, and it had unequivocally answered back. The word yes hung in the frigid air. It was spelled out by the teacup, undeniably. We stared at the table, then at each other, our faces pale in the stark flashlight beams. This wasn't just a story anymore. It was real. The teacup moved again, but now with a chilling precision. It glided across the ancient carved wood. First, it slid firmly to the letter D. Then, a pause, before moving to A. Next came N, then G, then E, then R. Danger. Just as the word danger completed, a deafening bang echoed from the hallway. Beyond our sealed, imprisoning room, it sounded like a heavy door slamming shut, or perhaps something large and solid falling. We all jumped, startled by the sudden violence. My flashlight beam jerked wildly across the dusty walls. The sound was sharp, aggressive, and very close. It shattered the last vestiges of our composure.
Wait, the board, look, it's glowing.
We all turned our attention back to the table, and she was right. It was unmistakably glowing. A faint ethereal light emanated from the wood, from the carved letters and symbols themselves.
What the?
It was a soft, pulsating luminescence, an otherworldly, unnatural radiance.
Okay, let's go, carefully.
Galvanized by the glowing board and the prior bang, we finally made a collective decision to leave. The warnings were too severe to ignore any longer. Jax moved towards the narrow, boarded-up doorway, the one we had painstakingly pried open earlier. I followed close behind, Maya bringing up the rear. Our flashlights cut nervous paths through the gloom. The glowing board cast eerie shadows behind us, a silent, luminous sentinel watching our retreat. We reached the makeshift exit, ready to escape. Jax put his shoulder to the wooden planks, the ones we had loosened to gain entry. He pushed, expecting them to give way easily. They didn't budge, not even an inch.
What the?
He pushed harder, grunting with the effort. The planks remained stubbornly, solidly in place. Then, with a horrifying final sound, a loud, resonant echoed through the room. The main door to the hidden staircase, the one we entered through, it slammed shut with tremendous, unnatural force, plunging us into near-total darkness. Panic flared, hot and sharp. We were trapped, truly trapped. The door, previously just loosely boarded, was now sealed, as if by an invisible, immensely strong hand. Jax and I threw our weight against it, again and again, with desperate, futile efforts. Fear was a cold serpent coiling in my stomach. We were trapped, at the mercy of the unknown. The glowing spirit board pulsed mockingly. Jax tried the radio.
"This is Jax. Can anyone read me?"
Only harsh static answered. The room absorbed all signals. We were on our own. A new strategy was needed. Maya turned back, determined. She moved toward the table. We asked it to speak. Maybe it will let us go. It was a desperate plea. But what other options did we have? The teacup started to vibrate on its own. Then it settled back into an unnerving stillness.
No answers.
No release, just silence. A silence that was heavier than any sound. We were trapped, undeniably and utterly, in Sarah Winchester's secret seance room.
The glowing spirit board pulsed its faint, eerie light.
Our only illumination in the crushing darkness. Just as despair threatened to consume us, a new sound cut through the silence. It was a faint, drawn-out creak from the sealed doorway, the one that had slammed shut, trapping us. We froze, hardly daring to breathe. Was this another trick? Another torment? Or could it be something else? The creaking sound came again, louder this time. Our flashlight beams shot towards the door. A thin sliver of blackness appeared along the edge of the door frame. It was opening. We found ourselves back in the narrow, hidden passage. We didn't pause to look back. The urge to flee was overwhelming, all-consuming. Down the precarious hidden staircase we scrambled. Our only thought was to put distance between us and that terrifying luminous chamber.
The upper floors of the Winchester Mystery House. They are a labyrinth even in daylight. In the dark, shaken by our ordeal, they were a nightmare.
Every corridor looked the same, every turn a new confusion. Our flashlights cut erratic paths through the gloom.
Did we hear footsteps behind us, or just our own? The house seemed to watch our desperate flight.
We felt like mice in a vast, dark maze. Jax took the lead, trying to recall the route. Maya stayed close, her senses still on high alert. She kept glancing back, as if expecting pursuit. I brought up the rear, my heart pounding. We stumbled through endless rooms, down twisting hallways. Each closed door a potential dead end. The mansion seemed to resist our escape.
Finally, after what felt like an eternity of panicked flight, we recognized a familiar section of the ground floor.
The grand main staircase loomed ahead, a beacon leading towards the outside world. Relief, potent and overwhelming, surged through us. We practically threw ourselves down the final flight of stairs, bursting out of the main entrance, into the cool, indifferent air of the San Jose daylight. We were out, shaken, trembling, but undeniably out. The massive, dark silhouette of the house loomed behind us, a silent, brooding testament to our terror. We stood outside, gasping for breath. The ordinary sounds of the city felt alien, after the profound silence and sudden terrors within. The ordeal had left us deeply shaken, undeniably so. But we were physically unharmed, as the legends promised. Sarah Winchester's house had played its games. It had warned us, trapped us, then released us. The experience was raw, visceral, and unforgettable. We had found the spirit board, our primary objective, but the communication had been terrifying. Danger, leave. The words were seared into our minds. The Winchester Mystery House was undeniably active, a profound respect for the power held within those walls. Our initial exploration of the Winchester Mystery House. It had been a maelstrom of fear and discovery. We had faced the unknown and emerged changed. The mansion had yielded one of its most guarded secrets, the spirit board, Sarah's alleged conduit to the other side. Its discovery was a monumental step. The Winchester Mystery House beckons us still. We have faced its darkness and felt its power. Join us, if you dare, as we prepare to delve deeper. Our journey into its haunting depths will continue,